Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
He got me a Lamborghini.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Yeah, first time I smoked weed, I don't suggest this, but I was 13.
Since the Diddy documentary came out, a lot has changed in how people are listening. Old clips are being replayed, old interviews are being re-examined, and statements that once sounded vague or brushed off as industry talk now land very differently. The picture that is forming is not about isolated moments, but about a system and the way power moved through it. This is where Justin Bieber's words matter, because what he describes is not a rumor or a theory. It is his experience. Justin has spoken about being young, being surrounded by powerful adults, and being placed in situations he did not understand at the time. One of the most disturbing parts of that story is his claim that Diddy made them watch things they should never have been exposed to as kids, things that crossed lines, things that shaped how they saw the world before they were ready to see it. At the time, it was called mentorship, guidance, being put on game. Usher was part of that world too, brought into Diddy's orbit at a young age and later playing a role in introducing Justin to the same environment. Looking back now, especially after everything that has come out about how Diddy operated, those relationships raise serious questions, not about talent or success, but about responsibility and protection. The connection between Usher, Justin Bieber, and Diddy starts much earlier than most people realize. And it begins when Usher himself was still very young. Usher was signed early on by L.A. Reid, one of the most powerful executives in the music industry. At a critical point in his early career, Usher lost his voice. Wanting to get him back on track and protect his investment, L.A. Reid decided to send Usher to someone he believed could help shape him into a star. That person was Puff Daddy. At the time, Puff was an up-and-coming executive with a reputation for turning young talent into global names. He ran something known as Flavor Camp, a kind of intense mentorship environment where artists were immersed in his world. During Usher's time at Flavor Camp, he did not just work with Puff, he lived with him. That detail matters because Usher later described that period as deeply uncomfortable, even if he did not fully understand why at the time. In Usher's own words, strange and questionable things were happening constantly. He said that at any given moment, you could open a door and see random people around, watching Netflix, hanging out, and partying through the night. Usher has said that he was often up all night in that environment, even though all he really wanted to do was go to the studio and focus on music. Looking back, many people now point to this period as the moment where boundaries were already being crossed, even if no one was openly calling it out. This is where speculation begins, and it is important to be clear about that. There is no public statement from Usher, Diddy, or Justin Bieber confirming specific acts, but people point to patterns, behavior, and comments that feel unsettling in hindsight.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 555.
Yes. Okay.
5555.
Okay. 55. You heard that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm here to because you've been a big supporter of mine, all jokes aside. This right here is my young brother right here. He's been a big supporter of mine. My album's coming out, and we got the crew going around now. You in New York City, and we got the Dirty Money crew, and we wanted to make you an official member of the Dirty Money crew.
Are you
all right?
serious?
There you go.
That is
Justin
that
Bieber.
Is swag.
Is it your swag?
And
then you got to do the swag walk too.
Okay.
I got to show you the swag walk.
You show me the swag walk.
And Scooter, Scoop, manager, mogul extraordinaire, you too.
I just got much cooler.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Money.
Dirty Money. Okay, so when we walk down the streets of New York, we hit them like this. So me and you walking, we hanging out, a little later on the night after the Usher concert,
Don't get those ladies, right?
Yeah, after that, the ladies, we in the street, Times Square, we go, swag. Swag. You see that? You see my hand right there? That's pushing the hate back. There's a lot of hate sometimes.
Right, yeah.
Swag. Swag.
I'll try it, right?
Swag. Try it.
So this hand?
Yeah, hand. This hand. Push it back like you're pushing the wind back. Swag. Ooh. Ooh. You got it, son. You got it. That's right, my boy Bieber, official member of the Dirty Money crew.
I'm chilling with my big bro Diddy right here. You gotta go get his album. It's Last Train to Paris. It is, it's gonna be the greatest album you've ever heard. It's got a lot of cool songs, a lot of people on it. You got
Drake on there.
Drake on there.
Lil Wayne.
Chris Brown.
I wanted to do a song with you, but you was on tour.
He was gonna do
Usher,
a song.
Big Brother Usher.
Big Brother Usher. So everybody's on this album. Go get this album.
Get it.
Last Train to Paris.
Yeah, get it.
We're out.
Peace.
All right.
One moment that is often referenced is an interview with Kevin Hart where Diddy and Usher appeared together. During the conversation, Diddy joked about how when Usher lived with him, they used to wrestle for Frosted Flakes. Kevin Hart reacted with visible confusion, questioning what Diddy meant. Diddy immediately told him to pause and physically grabbed Kevin Hart, pulling him off camera. The moment stood out because Kevin Hart is known for speaking freely, and Diddy appeared eager to shut the moment down.
We want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shouts out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. Usher look like he fresh off goddamn plane. Usher.
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
what the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid. Listen.
We having a good time, yo. Your Usher made it in the... Hey, yo.
After his time at Flavor Camp, Usher released his album titled Usher. The album contained extremely explicit themes and imagery, including references to watching explicit content. For many listeners, it was uncomfortable. His voice was still very young, and hearing someone that age describe those situations threw people off. The album was not well received by everyone for that reason, and notably, it was executively produced by Puff Daddy. Even Usher's own mother reportedly reacted strongly, questioning what was happening and stepping in to pull her son away from that environment. Over the years, more claims have surfaced. Former bodyguards have come forward saying that Diddy behaved inappropriately with Usher. There has also been a long-standing rumor that Usher was once sent to the hospital due to an encounter involving Diddy. Again, none of this has been directly confirmed by Usher himself, but the consistency of the stories has kept the conversation alive. When all of this is placed next to Justin Bieber's later comments about being exposed too early and being made to watch things he should not have, the pattern becomes harder to ignore. It does not prove anything on its own, but it does explain why so many people are now revisiting these stories with a different lens. What was once dismissed as industry culture or mentorship now looks a lot more like adults failing to protect children who were placed directly in their care. What makes this even harder to dismiss is that these rumors did not start recently. They have been circulating for nearly 2 decades, long before documentaries, long before social media revisits. People were already quietly questioning what really happened in these spaces. And that brings us directly to the link between Usher and Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber came up in almost the exact same way Usher did. He was discovered young, again with L.A. Reid involved early in recognizing his potential. At that point, both Usher and Justin Timberlake wanted to sign him. Bieber ultimately chose Usher, and Usher stepped into the mentor role, guiding him through the early stages of fame, industry access, and rapid success. On the surface, it looked like history repeating itself in the best way possible, but then the pattern repeats in a more troubling way. Usher sent a very young Justin Bieber to spend 48 hours with Diddy. That detail alone has raised eyebrows for years. Around that time, Diddy gave interviews where he spoke about Justin in a way that felt unsettling. He He said things like, Justin was doing things that any 15-year-old would dream of doing. He framed it as harmless fun, but the way he spoke was vague, suggestive, and deliberately unclear. This is where many people say Diddy has been telling on himself for years. In interviews, he constantly walks right up to a line and then pretends to pull back. He will say, Justin was having a really good time with me. Pause to see if anyone reacts. And when no one does, he adds something like, I cannot say too much though. You know what I mean. He repeats this pattern again and again. Say just enough to hint at something, then hide behind ambiguity. It reads less like caution and more like ego, as if he enjoys knowing he can say these things openly and still face no consequences. Justin Bieber's later behavior and words add weight to why people take these moments seriously. He has been relentlessly harassed by the entertainment industry since he was a teenager. Over the years, he has spoken openly about losing control, being overexposed, and being pushed into adulthood far too early. He even released music addressing it, making it clear that he was not talking about just one person, but the industry as a whole. One of the most telling moments came when Justin broke down during an interview after Billie Eilish's name was mentioned. He began crying and said he wanted to protect her and other young artists so they would not have to go through what he went through. That reaction did not come from nowhere. It came from someone who understands how damaging early exposure can be, especially when no one steps in to protect you. This is where the conversation turns darker, because the music industry has a long history of this behavior. Billie Eilish herself later revealed that something happened to her when she was young, and that she told her brother, who then made sure the person involved was fired. Taylor Swift has also spoken publicly about something happening to her early in her career, and this is where the reality becomes impossible to ignore. If the industry had the audacity to do this to Taylor Swift, someone with powerful parents and massive public visibility even early on, then this is not about isolated incidents. This is culture. This is a system that has normalized exploitation, silence, and protection of power. When you place Usher and Justin Bieber's stories inside that larger context, they stop sounding like rumors and start sounding like warnings that were ignored for far too long. And this is where the question gets even more uncomfortable. If this is how powerful people treated kids who were famous, protected by labels, managers, and money, then what do you think was happening to the ones nobody knew? The ones without fans, without leverage, without a platform to speak later. That thought alone changes the weight of everything we have talked about so far. Coming back to Usher, Justin Bieber, and Diddy, the pressure has clearly reached a breaking point. Usher briefly deleted his social media after people began flooding his pages, calling him out for sending Justin Bieber to Diddy. A lot of the criticism followed the same line. After everything Usher allegedly went through himself, why would he put another young artist in that same position? But here is where things are not as simple as social media wants them to be. Celebrities are still human beings, and human beings are complicated. This situation is not automatically as clean as Usher is bad because he sent Justin to Diddy. For years, Diddy has operated in an industry that allowed him to get away with almost anything. Billionaire music executives live by a different set of rules in a world where power protects power. If you have allegedly been groomed by someone like that, going against them is not easy. Speaking up is not simple. Saying no is not simple, especially when that person has influence over careers, money, and reputations. It is entirely possible that Usher felt trapped in a system he did not fully control, repeating patterns that were normalized to him when he was young. It is also possible that Usher is not innocent at all and is just as complicit. The truth is, neither you nor I know for sure. What we do know is how Diddy has always operated publicly. If you listen closely to his interviews over the years, a pattern emerges. So if someone asked me to guess how this went down, I would imagine it happened something like this. Diddy hears that Usher just signed a young kid named Justin. He calls him up casually, asks about him. Usher says, "Yeah, he is a good kid." And Diddy responds with something like, "Send him over. I am going to get to him anyway. Let him come spend some time with me." That casual confidence, that assumption of access. That is how power talks when it has never been challenged. That is speculation, and it is important to say that clearly. But it is speculation informed by decades of watching the same person move the same way, say the same things, and face no consequences. Either way, the silence around all of this is breaking. People are asking questions they were told not to ask for years. Another layer to this story comes from how Justin Bieber's camp has addressed these allegations publicly. Earlier this year, during Diddy's trial in New York, one of Bieber's representatives representatives released a statement responding to speculation that Justin could have been one of Diddy's victims. The spokesperson was clear in their wording, saying that although Justin was not among Sean Combs' victims, there were people who were genuinely harmed by him. They added that shifting attention away from those individuals detracts from the justice those victims deserve. On paper, that statement sounds firm and final, but for many fans, it did not fully settle the discomfort, especially when old footage began resurfacing with new context. One clip in particular started circulating again, an interview on Jimmy Kimmel where Diddy and a very young Justin Bieber appeared together. During that segment, Diddy made a comment that raised eyebrows even back then. He said Justin knew better than to talk about the things he did with Big Brother Puff on national television, adding that everything was not for everybody. At the time, comments like that were brushed off as jokes or industry talk. But now, with testimony from Cassie Ventura describing what allegedly went on at Diddy's so-called freak-off parties during the trial, that clip hits very differently. What once sounded like vague bravado now feels loaded. People are no longer hearing it as a throwaway line. They are hearing it through the lens of what we now know about secrecy, control, and what was happening behind closed doors. The legal outcome has only added to the confusion and debate. Diddy was ultimately found guilty on 2 counts related to transportation to engage in prostitution. A New York jury did not convict him on the more serious racketeering and trafficking charges. He was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison. For many observers, that mixed verdict left an uneasy feeling. Not because nothing happened, but because the full scope of what people believe occurred may never be fully addressed in court. This is where some fans return to Justin Bieber's denial and question it more closely, not necessarily as proof that something did happen, but as an example of how complicated these situations are. For someone who was a teenager at the height of his exposure, denial could have been about survival, about protecting his image, or about not being ready to confront something deeply uncomfortable in public. Embarrassment, confusion, fear, or loyalty can all exist at the same time, especially when power dynamics are involved. One of the clearest themes that came out of the documentary was how grooming did not start with force. It started with praise, with attention, with access. The people around Diddy were rewarded with proximity, fame, success, and the feeling that they had been chosen. Being close to him was positioned as a privilege, a shortcut to the top. And for young artists who were hungry to grow, that kind of validation was powerful. That is likely how Justin Bieber was pulled in, and how Usher was before him. These were kids who wanted to rise, who wanted approval, who wanted to feel like they were doing something right. Diddy understood that. He did not need to threaten or pressure at first. He offered opportunity. He made them feel special. He made them feel included in a world that most people never get to see. And once that door was open, the balance of power shifted completely. The documentary makes it clear that Diddy had a long history of exploiting young talent, not just financially or creatively, but personally. The environment he built blurred every boundary. Work and partying were mixed together. Authority and friendship were indistinguishable, and young people were expected to adapt, not question, not push back. If you wanted to stay close, you stayed quiet. What was shown about him in the documentary was not just disturbing, it was vile. There were repeated mentions of heavy drug use, SA, extreme parties, and behavior that crossed every ethical and moral line. These were not isolated incidents. They were part of a culture that had been allowed to exist for years.
Time where I was sipping lean, I was popping pills, I was doing Molly, shrooms, everything. And it was just an escape for me. I was just young, like everybody in the industry and people in the world who experiment and do, just normal growing up things. But my experience was in front of cameras, and I had a different level of exposure and people, and I had a lot of money and a lot of things. So then you have all these people around me just kind of hanging on, wanting stuff from me, knowing that I was living this lifestyle that they also wanted to live, drinking, smoking.
A culture where excess was normal, silence was rewarded, and harm was ignored as long as success followed. Within that context, it becomes easier to understand why people believe Justin was at least exposed to these things. Whether he personally went through them or was forced to witness them, the impact would be damaging either way. Being a teenager in rooms like that, watching adults normalize behavior that should never be normalized, changes you, especially when the person controlling the room also controls your career. This is why so many people are revisiting Justin's later struggles with a different lens: the loss of control, the burnout, the spiral. When a young person is praised, elevated, and then exposed to chaos at the same time, it creates confusion that can last for years. Diddy did not just offer success, he used it. He leveraged ambition against vulnerability, and for kids who only wanted to go higher, that leverage was enough to pull them in deeper than they ever realized. After everything he has endured, it is not surprising that the last few years have been especially complicated for Justin Bieber. He is now 31, and for a long time, his life looked like it was unraveling in public. Shortly after marrying Hailey in 2019, Justin suffered an emotional breakdown that worried fans and raised serious questions about how much he had been carrying for years. Since then, things appear to have shifted. He and Hailey now share a son. He has released new music, and through his social media, he presents someone who seems calmer, grounded, and deeply focused on faith, and people around him realize how he's grown up.
All the success that we've had, we've also had some really turbulent times. When he turned 18, it started bubbling a little bit. 19 to 21? That was probably that dark period.
We didn't speak a lot during some of the times where he was running amok. You know, there were a few times where I saw him, and it just kind of hurt my heart seeing him the way he was, you know? So I think I just kind of put a little distance with that for my own sake. It would just go without saying that my position on maybe the path he was going down, but at the same time, just letting him live his life and learn and, I don't know, just do his thing.
Recently, Justin shared some of his most honest reflections yet about how his career began and what it cost him. He spoke about growing up inside a system that rewarded his talent but failed to protect him as a person. In his words, he said he was raised in an environment that celebrated his gift while neglecting his soul. He admitted there were moments where he felt used, rushed, and shaped into something he did not fully choose for himself. That statement alone reframes much of what people saw from the outside: the chaos, the rebellion, the collapse. It begins to sound less like recklessness and more like the aftermath of being pushed too far, too fast. What stands out most is the way he chose to speak about it. Justin made it clear that he is not talking from a place of ongoing pain. He said he is not speaking as a victim still bleeding, but as someone who feels restored. He talked about healing and forgiveness, not as denial, but as a way of refusing to let the past continue controlling him. He acknowledged that injustice happened, but emphasized that it does not get the final word in his life. Even more telling is what he said about the industry itself. Justin did not express a desire for revenge. He did not call for destruction. Instead, he spoke about redemption and transformation. He said he does not want to tear the industry down, but wants it changed, so others do not go through what he did. That perspective only comes from someone who has truly reflected on their experiences and decided they no longer want to live inside them. At the same time, it is clear that Justin wants nothing to do with Diddy anymore. There is distance, silence, no praise, no nostalgia. After everything he has been exposed to, everything he has hinted at, and everything that has now come out publicly, that separation speaks volumes. It suggests boundaries. It suggests survival. It suggests someone who has finally decided that proximity to power is not worth the cost to their peace. Justin has been through enough. Whatever parts of his story the public may never fully know, his recent words make one thing clear. He is choosing healing over access, faith over industry approval, and a future defined by his own terms. And for someone who spent most of his life being shaped by other people's agendas, that choice may be the most powerful one he has ever made. As this story continues to unfold, many people believe the silence will not hold forever. If more victims come forward, the pressure to speak will increase. Some think Justin might eventually talk in more detail. Others believe that if he never does, Usher will. Not out of obligation to the public, but because Usher has already shown a willingness to acknowledge how wrong parts of that environment were. Usher has spoken about Flavor Camp more openly than people often realize. He has admitted that he went there as a kid and witnessed things he did not fully understand at the time. He has described it as chaotic, inappropriate, and not a place meant for children. Most importantly, he has said that if he were ever given the choice, he would never send his own child into that kind of environment. That statement alone carries weight. It is not dramatic. It is not accusatory. It is the reflection of someone who lived through something and only later understood how damaging it could be. That matters because it shows growth and awareness. It shows that even if Usher has not laid out every detail, he recognizes that what was normalized back then should never have been normal at all. Kids were placed in adult spaces, exposed to adult behavior, and expected to process it without protection or guidance. Success was prioritized. Safety was not. Justin and Usher are at different places in their lives now, but they share that history. Both entered the industry young. Both were praised, elevated, and pushed forward quickly. And both were shaped by systems that rewarded silence. If more people speak, that silence becomes harder to justify. Not because anyone owes the public their trauma, but because truth has a way of demanding space once it starts coming out. Whether Justin chooses to speak or not, the groundwork has already been laid. Usher has acknowledged the inappropriateness. Justin has acknowledged the harm. Together, their words already point to the same conclusion. What happened in those spaces was not okay for kids, and the longer that truth sits in the open, the harder it becomes for anyone to pretend otherwise. So, what do you think? Comment down below and let us know. If you liked this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.